And this is what girls don't want to see. Like girls that are in that kind of relationship, or I call it situationship, they don't want to see it. Hello. Oh, okay, so the lighting is kind of nice right now. Um, all right. I'm very aware of the fact that I'm sitting on the floor and I'm drinking wine. But this is how it's gonna be from now on this channel, so you better get used to it. So today's topic that I really want to talk to you guys about is Valentine's Day. And this has come from the fact that it has come from a lot of conversations that I have with my girlfriends, you know, the good ones and the bad ones. I mean, like the bad Valentines and the good Valentines. A lot of them have very interesting experience, and I myself did not have a very good Valentine's Day, but I will talk about it maybe in a different separate videos, and this is just like my general observation. Okay, so fun fact. I'm not sure if it's fun or not, but this is what I observed, and this is something that you might not want to hear right now, or you're not in like a right place of mind, like a right place in your mind to hear this. But if the guy doesn't care how you feel about Valentine's Day, be it the fact that you don't like Valentine's Day or you really like Valentine's Day, if the guy doesn't care doesn't care anything about that, high chance is that your relationship is not going to last, and he actually doesn't really care about you. And I know this is something that's really hard to swallow. It was really hard for me to see it and to admit the fact for what it is. But I wish that somebody has told me earlier the importance of this. You know, even though we tend to kind of trivialize how we feel, and we tend to like diminish, you know, how angry we are or how pissed off we are that someone that we really love, or someone that's supposed to really love us, doesn't really care how we feel. Like we feel weird about the fact that our boyfriend or our special someone wasn't really paying attention to Valentine's Day, you know, for example. Even though we're really mad at that, we didn't allow ourselves to feel it. And so that was my case. Like I wasn't okay with it, but I didn't let myself see it, and because it was something that was really hard for me to see, because if I saw that, then the entirety of my relationship like is questioned, and I wasn't ready to question it. I wasn't in the right place in my mind to question what went on there, and I wish that I did. So with that personal experience out of the way, I did not have a good Valentine's, and I didn't have good relationship like for the past however many years that was. I was in a really long-term relationship, and my last Valentine with the guy was I don't know how to say it, but I would say that it got progressively worse over the years. I would say the worst one was when he got angry because I was mad at him for forgetting about Valentine's. Like I was bringing, well, I wasn't really like angry, like coming on to him very strongly, but it was more like, hey, you know, Valentine's sort of important for me, and I wish that, you know, you could pay more attention. Sorry, there was a noise outside. Yeah, so I was like touching on the topic for him, and I was trying to explain to him like how important Valentine is for me, but it seems like he got mad because of the fact that I told him that I wasn't really happy. And so we got into a huge fight, and that didn't end very well. So that was like worst Valentine's for me. I was just bringing up the fact that I wasn't very happy in the relationship. If this is how he's treating me, and then he got mad over that. So that was the worst Valentine. The other ones are just, you know, kind of like forgettable, kind of worse, kind of bad. And this is something that I observed in my girlfriends, like my female friends, my woman friends. the longer the relationship has been going on for them, the worse the Valentine is. So the first Valentines that I have with their boyfriend is usually, the guy show up at the house with flowers and restaurant reservation, and they would have like a great time together. But then, subsequent years, it's kind of get worse, and it's like some of them up until this point no longer cares, which is really sad for me, because the girls, like, I could see myself in them, but there was no way for me to tell them, because I'm very aware of the fact of how I was, when I was in that situation. Like, I wasn't allowing myself to feel how disappointed I was, because as soon as I verbalized how disappointed I was, this is how he was treating me, when I verbalized that, it didn't end well. So over the years, I just, kind of shut myself up and just kind of accept whatever that was going on there. And so, but I will tell you this, if this is how you see your relationship is going, get ready. I think some of you already are, but you don't want to admit it. Like some of you, like some of my friends, I've seen them doing this mentally, like when they start detaching from the guy, like gradually, because they know, like, mentally they cannot break up with the guy right away, like mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever, like they start detaching in their head. And I've seen them start doing that. Like they would let's say, like, they would start to not caring about Valentine's Day as much, or they would ask their girlfriends to come to the house when they have like a special anniversary. So kind of like, how to say, like, reduce the importance of the guy's presence in their life. And I see that move. But that is another thing, right? Because then they would be like, kind of like in this relationship, like stuck in this relationship where the guy is not really appreciating them, and not really, how to say, good for their self-esteem. And over the years, the longer you're stuck in that situation, the longer it will take for you to recover. And so I'm just saying, Valentine's Day, just one day. Some people were like, oh, why do you give so much importance, like so much importance to something that is that just one day? But for me, I think that love is not like a feeling, but it's how you show it, basically. Like it's in the action. And if that's how you treat me, and that's how it is on Valentine's Day, and so that is like an indication that this relationship is not healthy, or the guy is just not for you. And so moving on from that, there's another point that I want to make, is that I've seen, so this is what I've seen, guys from my generation and younger, this is what has started happening. They start to say things like, Valentine's Day is such like a capitalist holiday or whatever. It's just like the companies, like the corporations, just made it up to sell more stuff, to sell more chocolates, and to sell more flowers. But I mean, like, even so, you know what I mean? Like, even so, if it is something that makes your girlfriends or your special person feel happy, shouldn't you just do it? Instead of, arguing what it's really about, because no one holds like a complete, absolute, powerful truth out there. It's just, if you live with this person and you care about their feelings, then you should care about making this person happy at every chance that you have. Because that's how I feel. Like, that's what I do for my girlfriends. That's what I do for people that are closest to me. Like, if I have a chance to make them happy, I would do it. I don't care if it is called whatever it is called. If it's called pathetic, or if it's called cheesy, or if it's called, you name it, right? So the idea is not about whether you win, like illogical, like you win logic on this day, or we lose logic on this day, but the idea is to show someone that you love them and you appreciate them. And for me, that is the most important part. But yeah, I've seen this argument floating around, it's just like a capitalist holiday, why would you care? I mean, if for some people, like I've seen this, for some people, they're terrible all year long, and then on Valentine's Day, they do something very nice. That in itself is not okay still, but it's like the minimum, it's like the only chance that you have at salvaging your relationship. And if you even fail at that, then it's like you don't really care about keeping the relationship itself. And this is what girls don't want to see. Like girls that are in that kind of relationship, or I call it situationship, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. This is where their relationship is going, and the guys are caring as much. And they feel suffering. Like they have a nagging sense in their head about the suffering. Like they feel like vaguely suffering, but they don't know what it is. So they try to like distract themselves with, boba tea, or they try to distract themselves with other shit that take off the feeling of pain that they feel every day. Because I was in that position, and so I really, I know, I'm very aware of how it feels to be in it. So the argument is that, sometimes, and then there's another argument that I heard from the guys, the guy friends that are in my circle, that in my generation, in my group, is, well, those things are like useless, like the flowers and the chocolates. They are costly, and they're in the, what they're saving for something. They're saving to buy Tesla stock, or they're saving to buy whatever that is. The thing is, they don't even cost that much. Like if you really, if you look up flowers, like if you go to Trader Joe's, like if you go to Kroger, anywhere, flowers actually don't cost that much. It's not like, a gazillion dollars. It's usually a bouquet of flowers is $5 to $10 max. And even if you pick up like a flowers outside of a gas station, the person is still happy, because it's the thought behind it that counts. It's not how much money you spend on it. And so the guys are making that, the guys that are making that argument are completely missing the point, in my opinion. So overall, it was an interesting holiday, besides the fact that we just had like a massive snowstorm here. I'm not sure if I talked about it yet. I think I haven't. Yeah, so I'm currently living in Texas, and there has been a huge, so right after Valentine's Day, I feel really bad for the people that broke up on Valentine's Day, because right after you got hit by a massive snowstorm and power was out, electricity, water, Wi-Fi, like the sense of disconnected from the world while you have just, broke up with someone. That's just interesting. I don't know, like some of my friends are going through it. So I was very lucky that my area wasn't as affected, even though I've heard a lot of my friends on the same county, lost that electricity, and they were, I think, without like air conditioning for 48 hours. And I count myself very lucky that the power outage didn't happen or very severely in our area. So I think that's the luck that I could appreciate. Besides that, I'm still pissed about Valentine's Day. I'm pissed of the bad treatment that's been going on to my girlfriends, to the people that I care about. And they're still in those relationships, and there's no like possible way to talk them out of it. And it's just not Valentine's Day. It's like every single day, but Valentine's is like easier to talk about because it's like concrete. Like it's something that everybody knows, and this expectation is clear. And so many people are so concerned with the fact of being single on this day, so they would rather keep a relationship that is shitty and that's kind of like be around the guy that ignores them on that day, rather than be alone. So that's like the logic in their head. And I'm not criticizing girls for doing this. It's not their fault, and it's I was in that position too, and I know that wasn't my fault. It was just the idea that has been we have been brainwashed into believing. So but the more you receive that ignoring treatment, the more that you let yourself be ignored, be it Valentine's Day or any other day of the year, the more that you receive that, the more you're gonna start hating yourself, and the more you're gonna start bad treat yourself. And one day you'll wake up realizing like you don't even like being here, you don't even like your body, you don't even like being in your body. And so that's a really messy state to wake up with. But yeah, so I don't know if any of you learned something about your Valentine's Day, what happened in it. Did the guy treat you well? Did you go on a date? Or did you just stay at home and Netflix and you were totally fine by it? Were you actually totally fine by it? That's something that I would want to ask. I was once with this guy that sort of had this agenda up front. We started dating when I was really young, and he told me, he's not a flower guy. He's not a surprise gift or dating kind of guy. So he just straight out told me that's not who he is. And because I was so young and inexperienced, I kind of just took it as it is, and I thought, that's just who he is. And I appreciate him for the honesty, and I appreciate him for just telling me straight up. But then later on, it was kind of messed up. I realized that because when he told me that, I felt like something was wrong with it, but I didn't have the ability and the strength to tell him, no, that's not right, So I kind of just took his truth as how we operate. And every year, the mess up part was that him telling me that, and okay, so there are so many things. Sorry, there are so many things wrong with that. Wait, the first one. The first one was that he genuinely believes that there's a girl out there, or all the girls out there, all girls or women out there should accept guys like him, guys that are not into gift giving or not into flower giving. And he genuinely believes that. He genuinely believes to date someone that is fabulous, that is awesome, that has potentials and pretty and all that, while not caring about the gift. So it's a total contradiction for me, you know what I mean? Because gift giving and flower giving, it's sort of like giving the person, how do I say this? It's like giving the person not really validation, but it's love and appreciation of their presence in their life. If you don't have that, and so how would that person view themselves, you know what I mean? And so it's a total contradiction in my head, but I felt it, but I didn't really know how to verbalize it. So this guy genuinely believed that girls with healthy self-esteem wouldn't expect a guy to give flowers to her. And I believed that for a minute. I believed that for years that I was dating him. And yeah, so then we were together, and I actually believed that until recently. I started to see how contradictory that is, because how you treat another person is over the years, especially if you guys are very, very close together, over the years would become how the person feel about themselves. And if you don't do those gesture of love and gesture of appreciation, over the years, the person will internalize that ignorance or lack of gesture as their self-esteem, and that's how they see themselves, and that's really fucked up. And so he didn't see that. He didn't see the whole process. He just yeah, this is what I want. So he approached dating going to a fish market, I want this and this and this and this. And so because I was so young, I didn't see that. The second part, the second wrong part was when I feel something was wrong, I didn't tell him. And so I kind of let this experience go, let myself be subjected to this experience. And so we were together for so many years, and every year I would find myself expecting, but I didn't realize that's how I was. I felt wrong. At the same time, I also felt guilty. And I'm so sorry, I think this video is getting really, really long. But my point was that if a guy doesn't care about you and doesn't care about Valentine's Day or doesn't care about you on a daily basis, it's time for you to see that. And even though you don't want to act on it right away, even though you don't have any solution right away, you don't have to put up with it. Just realize this. You don't have to put up with this. There are tons of people out there that would love to be with you. and that would love to appreciate you for who you are. I would love to give you flowers every day, but even that person doesn't exist. It's not worth being with an asshole all day that depreciate your value, that mess up your kitchen, that doesn't clean up after he eats, or just doesn't pay attention to your outfit. Those things are not worth putting up. And so Valentine's Day is just like a landmark, like an event in which you kind of like reevaluate the relationship. It gives you like a way of, like a perspective of seeing things as a whole. Like if this person behave like this on this day, is this relationship gonna worth it or not? And some of us think, we don't have to put so much thought in the relationship, you focus on career or whatever, but you don't realize how relationship around us will impact our mental health and will impact how we see about ourselves. And if you don't start paying attention, that can really get in the way when you really need, like when you're least expected and when you're most defenseless. So that's all I'm saying for today. And because this video has already been really, really long, I'm gonna stop it right here. Sorry. And yeah, I just wanna thank you for being here and hearing me rant for the past like 15 minutes or so. And so now I'm gonna go clean up in the kitchen because I made a mess there. And so yeah, I hope to see you again in the next video. And yeah, have a great weekend because it's like Saturday now, at least in the time that I filmed this video. If I upload it late, then I hope you have a really great week, day, whatever. Okay, bye, take care.